Guys, we might as well just stayed live. This team hates me. I swear this team hates me. Whether I'm at the Senior Bowl or I just get done being live. And I told y'all, I'm not a liar. I said when something happens, I'm going to go live again. So it's official. I just got done telling y'all I thought I was going to wait till tomorrow. But Washington has officially hired Joe Whitt Jr. as the defensive coordinator. Bradley says, bro, what a night. I hope Al Harris is on the way also. So that's something that people have reached out to me and said, is that even a possibility still? Yes. The thing is, Washington needs to give Al Harris some kind of promotion. Now, I don't know what the blurry line is of what that promotion looks like what is a promotion for him, because right now he's just a DB coach. Would making him a DB coach / assistant head coach be a promotion? I don't know. In my head, yes. But the Cowboys can block it. Not saying that they will, but I'm telling y'all. He says, how does Joe Whitt bring a real energy to his team? Haven't seen fire since Heineken. I'm not convinced hiring half the Cowboys staff is the answer. So this is the thing. I want to talk about this. Then Merle, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to go to bed once we get done. I'm not going to stay live as long as we just were for like an hour and something. So don't expect that. I'm going to give my thoughts and I want y'all to talk to. Zombie Easy says, I got a good feeling about this. _ Kenny says, Al Harris, please. Wayne Kerr, secondary coach. So this is my thoughts. So let me just tell y'all like what I did when the whole news was breaking. Dan Quinn, whatever. Is it going to be Al Harris? Is it going to be Joe Whitt Jr.? Who was the guy? And the research I did, just talking to some people that I know that are close to the Cowboys, that do like Cowboys content, and then just talking to people at the Senior Bowl. I was like, with Dallas, is Al Harris like the guy or is it Joe Whitt Jr.? Every single one I talked to said it's Joe Whitt Jr. If anyone's going to get promoted to DC in Dallas, it's going to be Joe Whitt Jr., not Al Harris. I said that early. I told y'all that on streams I did. I did the Dan Quinn breaking news live stream. I told y'all the same thing. I said it's probably going to be Joe Whitt. And if it is Joe Whitt, you should be happy. I know Al Harris's name keep hearing come up. Al Harris, Al Harris. Players love Al Harris. They do. Absolutely. Players love Joe Whitt Jr. as well. It was very unanimous that Joe Whitt Jr. was the guy in line for Dallas. And another thing, I love how things I hear, people I talk to tell me something. And I'm not saying I'm talking like Adam Schefter, by the way. And I'm not trying to be like that guy. I just want to be transparent with y'all. And like, if anything I ever say is wrong, it'll come out. But so far, everything that I've heard this week and have said this week have come out as very correct. It's always been Joe Whitt Jr. is the guy. And it kind of showed that with them looking outside for some other defensive coordinators, not even just Ron Rivera. If they're interviewing Ron Rivera over, like Al Harris, instead of just promoting Al Harris to DC, I don't think Al Harris was the guy in Dallas. And it's always been that Al Harris is going to follow Dan Quinn wherever he goes. We heard it, on Adam Schefter's podcast. If he goes to Alaska, I'm going to Alaska. So I think there still is a possibility. I would love him to come as a secondary coach. I mean, like, who are we kidding? That whole entire defensive staff, I don't care if it's Dallas. I don't care what happened in that Packers game. I do not care. Don't send me some screenshots of that playoff game. Don't. Because look at every other game that season. I would love that. What Dan Quinn, what Joe Whitt, what Al Harris did, they were like, 28th overall defense when Dan Quinn got there? And they're one of the best defenses in the league. You know what Washington doesn't do besides just playing defense? They don't get turnovers. They don't get turnovers. But you know who does? The Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs goes down for the season. We'll turn Dron Bland into a record-breaking all-pro caliber corner. The late round was he 5th round? Where'd he go? Fresno State, if I remember. Dron Bland. Never once looked at his tape in college. But by God, Dan Quinn and Joe Whitt Jr. and Al Harris can put together one heck of a defense. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do. And what I like the most about this is you are bringing over that Dan Quinn defense, but then also Dan Quinn has that trust. He's going to let Joe Whitt Jr. do what he's going to do. Like I said, the respect for Joe Whitt in Dallas is huge. He was the next guy. He was the next guy in line. So the fact that Dan Quinn brings his guy over, we don't know anything about Al Harris yet. Nothing's come out about Al Harris. Al Harris might just stay in Dallas. But once again, if Al Harris meant what he said, I will follow Dan Quinn wherever, but it's up to Dallas if they're going to block it, whatever. Maybe because we're rivals, they could. Maybe they don't want to lose everyone on defense. They don't want to do what the Ravens are about to do. Honestly, if I'm Dallas, I'm blocking it because I would want Al Harris to stay there. But at the same time, I love it. I love this move. I wanted Joe Whitt Jr. over any defensive coordinator option out there. Why? Because you already have Dan Quinn. Now you have his guy. You can let Dan Quinn just be the head coach, do what he's going to do, make sure everything is going the way it's supposed to be that head coach. And he can get involved with the defense. I'm not saying he's like not going to have an influence and call plays and, help, decide like what kind of schemes and stuff they want to do. I mean, he absolutely is. Like that's why we got him here. Like that's why we got Dan Quinn. But the fact that he has this guy that knows how to do that and he has that trust, that's big. So that's what I was saying a minute ago on the other live stream. Dan Quinn's just going to have his blueprint on that defense, and he's going to have his hands in it like wet clay and just molding this bottom tier defense, the worst defense in the league, and make something out of it. And then you're going to let Cliff Kingsbury be that offensive guru, be that quarterback guy that's going to help develop that rookie quarterback. Nick says, is there a chance that Joe Whitt can turn Emmanuel Forbes around? Yes, they do it. They've done it. Like I said, there's guys that I've never even heard of. Gilmore looked like he was a lost cause. We're like, why did they go get Gilmore? Like they're trying to fill in holes. And then Gilmore actually had a pretty good season. I'm telling you, that defense was really good. Players love these coaches. Players want to play for these coaches because it's successful. Make sure no other news breaks. I told y'all we might as well just stay live. But I promised y'all, if anything happens, even on 0 hours of sleep, I'm going to go live, y'all, because we really do this. And y'all always show up. RS Swimmer 84 says they brought Quinn into the building, and 2 hours later they locked up their coordinators. Gotta love the hustle. And I truly think that both of them are going to be announced tomorrow. But then, like you said, Dan Quinn got off that plane. Adam Peters was there. He said, let's just pop some bottles, light the cigars, break the news, let everybody know. And then now we'll start to see the layers of the position coaching and stuff like that. Well, we're on Al Harris watch right now. We're on Al Harris watch. And Cliff, I have no idea what Cliff's going to do. Cliff's just a mystery box of staff. I don't know who he's about to bring over. Evan says, it seems like we're getting Williams or Daniel. Like I said, on the live stream just a minute ago, we talked about this a lot. Caleb putting up that, congrats. I'm not going to look too much into it, but I think Caleb would have no problem playing in Washington. And I have no problem trading up to get him. Oh gosh, we're not going to even talk about name changes on here, man. We're off to a positive start, man. No, I don't love the name either. Honestly, so real for this. Absolutely. Philip Watkins, keep taking the good we building, baby. Glad you stayed awake on X. I'm telling you, man, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm hurt. I'm hurting, bro. I'm hurting. But the news like this, positive direction wakes me up. But I'm definitely sleeping good tonight. And I got to work tomorrow. This is a really good point, Sizzle. Feels like we will actually have free agents wanting to come here now. And this is the biggest thing. A lot of our free agency money is going to go on the defense. Whether it's re-signing Cam, re-signing Kendall, throwing a bag at Brian Burns, who's probably going to get tagged. Bryce Huff, Patrick Queen, Snead, Antoine Winfield, like whoever it is, we're throwing bags on the defense. Bags. That's fine. Defense is going to get an overhaul. It needs it. Absolutely needs it. Will free agents want to come here now? And I'm not talking about the Cody Bartons, the Will Jackson the thirds. No. We're talking like actual free agents. Yes, they will want to come here. You saw Micah Parsons talking about like, yo, wherever he goes, he needs to take me. Now, of course, he's not coming to Washington. But I'm just saying, players are going to want to play for Dan Quinn. Players are going to want to play under a Joe Whitt Jr. defense. And offensive players and quarterbacks are going to want to come play under Cliff Kingsbury. I've never heard one bad thing about Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive-minded person. I haven't even heard anything bad as a head coach. Like players saying like, oh, I don't like Cliff or this about Cliff. Nothing's ever come out about Cliff. Only thing that ever came out was like that Kyler Murray doesn't watch film and he plays too much Call of Duty. That's it. That's it. I don't think, look, if anything, the only thing Caleb does is like play with Legos with his girls in his penthouse suite up in LA. I'm fine with that. If I hear that Caleb's spending too much time building Legos, that's fine. That's better than anything else we've had out of Washington the last few years. I love Caleb, by the way, guys. People talk so bad about Caleb. I love Caleb. Tay says our fan base hated on Trayvon Diggs so much. Now they're hoping Forbes can become him. First off, I love Trayvon Diggs. I don't really like his brother because I know a lot about his brother. I wish I didn't know about his brother. But I love Trayvon Diggs because he played at Alabama. And there's DMV boys, gotta love them. I'm a Virginia boy. But yeah, I had some friends that went to Maryland. I'm not a Stephon Diggs fan. But I love Trayvon, man. I talked to Trayvon a bunch of times at Alabama, like after games and stuff like that when he broke his leg. I remember meeting him after one of the games. He was on crutches and still got some pictures with him. Trayvon's a cool dude, man. Like I love Trayvon. I would love for him to be here. Can Forbes become a Trayvon Diggs? We'll see. I wonder how much Dan Quinn would have wished we picked Gonzalez. If I could ask Dan Quinn any question, if anyone's going to that press conference tomorrow, ask Dan Quinn, who would you rather have starting a team, Emmanuel Forbes or Gonzalez? I'm just kidding. Don't ask that because we know the answer. Phil Blocky says people were complaining about the length of the head coaching process, but we rolled the coordinators process. They have done their due diligence from GM all the way down and showing. That is big. I think the difference is you're just not hearing as much as we have in years past. All these leaks and stuff like that, it's not really coming out until it actually happens. But you hear, all this team's interested in so-and-so, this team's interested in so-and-so, but they haven't hired anybody yet. The Raiders are still looking for coordinators. There's still a lot of teams looking for coordinators. But, we're done. Like, we're getting position coaches now. Like, we're done. Like, back to the drawing board on free agency and the draft, by the way, guys. Like, we're done with coordinators. Now, we had a good feeling this is who it was going to be. I mean, Cliff came late. But, like I said, if y'all been paying attention, we pretty much knew Joe Whitt Jr. was going to be the guy. Since the minute the Dan Quinn news broke, Joe Whitt Jr. coming here was pretty much a lot. Like it was going to happen. He was bringing him over. And the thing about these interviews, the head coaching interviews, this is something else I talked to some people about with and oh man, I wish I could just be a fly on the wall in some of these interviews. This is something I talked to somebody about. They gave me a little bit of transparency into how these interviews have gone this offseason. Things have not gone the best for some defensive-minded like head coaches interviewing for stuff because they don't go in there with a plan of like an offense. So I want to know what these interviews looked like with Dan Quinn and what he, talked about with the whole committee, with Josh Harris, with Adam Peters, Bob Myers, Spielman, whoever's in there. But from what I heard, this isn't not saying Dan Quinn's interview. But there were some interviews that just didn't go good because they just didn't have a plan. Like they just didn't have a good enough plan. Like when they sit down with you, they don't just say like, "Oh, why should you get the job?" And it's it is a wide picture. It's a big picture interview. Like, what are you going to do? Like, what are we going to build? What's your offensive plan? What's your defensive plan? What's your plan in the draft? What's your free agency plan? Like, this isn't just we're worried about you. This is a team. When you talk about that aligned vision that we keep hearing from Josh Harris and Adam Peters, like, we all have to be on the same page. What does that look like to you? What does the rest of the staff look like? So like, this person like gave me a little bit of insight on what those like conversations look like, and they haven't been perfect this offseason. Some people just didn't come in with a good enough plan. And I think it's big for, these defensive coaches like Dan Quinn. So I don't know what that interview with Dan Quinn looked like. I would have loved to heard like what he said. But you absolutely have to think that he said, if I'm the guy, I'm bringing my guy with me. I'm bringing Joe Whitt Jr. over here. This is what I did with that defense. We're going to do the same thing here. That defense that y'all had last year, that last defense, that's gone. That's not happening again. Me and Joe are going to get to work. We're going to go from last to first. I promise you that. That's probably how that interview process goes. He doesn't just say, "Oh, I got a couple options at D coordinator. There's a guy I worked with at in college. I'm gonna call him up." Like, no, like you have a plan ready to go. And I guarantee you Joe Whitt Jr. was part of that plan. That's why when the Dan Quinn news comes out, you hear like 5 seconds later, and it's expected that Joe Whitt Jr. is going to follow him. They don't just pull that out the cloud and say, "All right, let's hope this sounds good." Underscore Kenny says, Al Harris watch out like that. Very confident he's coming over. DB's coach, assistant head coach. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. I don't think just throwing in that dash assistant head coach counts as a promotion anymore. But once again, it's up to Dallas can block it, or maybe, doing the right thing, they don't block it. If I'm saying, yo, I'm trying to go over there with Dan, let me go. It's not going to look good on Dallas. Be like, no, we blocked it. Who did the block? Oh, yeah, the Panthers. What's his name? Their defensive coordinator, Ejiro Avero, whatever his last name is. They're like blocking all his interviews. Like that made them look terrible, by the way. If that dude, like he could have, I think he could have got a head coach opportunity. I think it would have been a good candidate somewhere. Yeah, the Panthers blocking interviews. Son, I'd have been like, nah, you can't be out of here blocking opportunities. No. Or go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else. Like I wouldn't have wanted to stay with the Panthers. We have the DL background in Quinn and the secondary background in Whitt. Now we need a strong coach in the background with linebackers. I mean, I don't think there's a hit or miss with Quinn, but it comes down to Micah Parsons. They really didn't have that many linebackers in Dallas. That was their biggest weak point. It was like, are you really going to drop Micah Parsons into coverage? Like, and how often are you going to do that? Like, are you really going to take that pass rush away? Because you kind of have to drop him into coverage because you don't have any linebackers. Now, I'll say this. He took Marquise Bell, Florida A&M safety, super underrated. I think he went undrafted. Moved him from safety to linebacker, and he was really good. Like, he was much better than you should have been. That move from safety to linebacker, he was like, you check the stats, you check like PFF linebacker rankings. He's up there. Like, he's not bad for a guy who was a rookie as a safety. They just moved him to linebacker. Like, hey man, we don't got nobody, so you are the somebody, and he did a pretty dang good job. So I mean, when I look at the defense, you have to get a veteran on the linebacker squad, and I'm not talking about Jamin Davis. I'm talking like Levante David, Patrick Queen. I don't know. Bobby Wagner's like too old. I want a veteran, but I don't want like a 1-year guy. I want like a 2-3 year veteran that can just get things going. And then you draft a guy. You get a Cedric Gray, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Adrian Cooper. Don't get me started on my guy EC. There's a lot of good linebackers in this class. Peyton Wilson. That's another dog I talked to this week. You gotta get some linebackers. I think you get one. And I think what Dan Quinn's going to want to do, because he's good at it, he's going to want Jamin Davis to rush the quarterback. He's going to do a lot of disguises with Jamin Davis. He's going to show some pressure. He's going to drop. He's going to show some late delayed blitzes with Jamin Davis. We've seen it a couple times, and it works with Jamin Davis. There's some games where I remember just watching. Jamin Davis can get to the quarterback. He's got that speed. Now, is he the best coverage guy? No. Especially on a wheel route. That's tough. But Dan Quinn's gonna have some stuff for Jamin Davis. And I think that's why he was excited. He's like, all right, this guy's gonna know how to use me. He's gonna let him rush the quarterback. He's gonna let him drop into coverage when he needs to. But I think you get a veteran, and you get it. I think you draft another guy too. Isaac Chavez says, I love how Dan Quinn went out of his comfort zone and attacked the OC position instead of getting who he knows. Exactly. And I think that's important too. And I talked about it just a second ago on the other live stream. Getting Cliff Kingsbury, it's not like he's going to want to be a head coach again. Cliff is not going to want to move back up into that role in like 2 or 3 years. He's been there. He knows what the head coach position looks like in the NFL. And that's why he humbled himself, went back to the college scene. So let me work at USC. Let me refresh myself until I'm ready to get back to the NFL. He's going to be here for a while if things work out. There's a 3-year deal with Cliff. So that's 3 years. I think he lasts the whole 3 years, honestly. And then you revisit after that. Maybe he stays. Maybe he goes somewhere else. But a quarterback in the same system for 3 years, that's great. A rookie quarterback, that's great. But I agree with you. It's good that he didn't just, get some random guy that we just doesn't have the track record offensively. Now we heard about Chip Kelly, and him and Chip were linked together for a while. But it does say something that he was willing to go with Cliff over Chip Kelly. I like Cliff a little bit more than I like Chip Kelly, especially with the whole developing a rookie quarterback. Dino says, if there's anyone that can help Forbes with Quinn and Whitt, just look at Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, and like I said, look at Dron Bland. Like, I honestly, that's all you need to look at is Dron Bland. That's it. Staff has come together, and it looks good. Oh, yeah, what's the chances Jamin Davis is on this team with this case? I mean, I think it's a good chance he's on the team. And like I said, I think you can see a step up with Jamin Davis, too. He's going to use him. What's going on, John? What about Jabril Cox? I don't know. I just don't think you can afford to have some randoms. I think your depth guy is going to be Khalil Hudson, which that's fine. I still think he's like a linebacker 4 though. I think like I said, 1's going to be a veteran, 2's going to be some rookie, 3 is going to be like Jamin Davis. Not like ranking worst to best, but I'm just listing them off. And then 4 is going to be probably who did I just say? Khalil Hudson. Don't know why. I mean, guys, I'm struggling here. So I think you'll have about 4 or 5 linebackers. Depends what he wants to do. But I think you'll see Jamin Davis rush the quarterback a lot. Josh Allen from the Jags is a free agent, but everything sounds like he's getting tagged regardless. Like, he's getting a tag. They're not letting him out. They haven't even talked yet. They haven't started any conversations yet, which is kind of concerning. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I've been up since 2, flying. But Josh Allen's getting a tag. If you're looking on an edge, I think Brian Burns gets tagged. I think Josh Allen gets tagged. My number 1 realistic target is Bryce Huff. I love Bryce Huff. I think he's super young. He's 25. I was hoping he was going to be at the Senior Bowl because he's from Mobile, Alabama. But the Jets have crazy depth on the line. They're not paying Bryce Huff. There's a 0% chance he comes back. 0. There's no reason for him to pay. But he's really good. I like Bryce Huff a lot. I think he would fit in really good under Dan Quinn. That's definitely a video I'm going to do soon. And he's not going to be some crazy bag, but it's a reasonable amount. So I'll get into the contracts. When I do these free agent videos, I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about what they do good, what they do bad, where I think they fit the best, what the contract's going to look like. all that good stuff. Like I said, free agent wise, I'm going to target it heavily towards Washington. The draft, I might just do like an overall video just in case other people want to watch it. And it's not just me talking about Washington all the time. But yeah, hit that subscribe button, guys. So close to 3K. I got a lot of subscribers while we were just live a minute ago. So hit that subscribe button. Join the memberships, $2.99 a month for exclusive content, videos, and giveaways. Like I said, I'm giving away 2 jerseys at the NFL draft night 1. Isaac says, can't wait when that Al Harris DB assistant head coach probably will be his dash position. Assistant head coach notification hits. It's gonna be nice. That would be a big get. If we don't get him though, like I'm not mad. Appreciate it, CJ. Like I said, man, every time something happens, I'm gonna go live. Me and Rio. And Louis T. Louis T is my guy too. I like Louis. I love watching Louis stuff. But anytime anything happens, I don't care what time it is, what we doing, me and Rio pushing something out. John said we need to add Adrian Cooper or Peyton Wilson to that linebacker room. Absolutely, man. I want a guy that can run sideline to sideline, coverage, sure tackle. Like Peyton Wilson does everything so well. So does Adrian Cooper, man. I remember watching the Alabama game. I'm like, yo, who is this linebacker that is killing us? And it was Adrian Cooper. That he's a complete linebacker. He's been my linebacker 1 since like middle of the college football season. I don't see that changing. This is where you're going to start getting Peyton Wilson and some other guys pushed up because, they're in the Senior Bowl and they're getting talked about. But I still have Jeremiah Trotter Jr. as number 2. I think Peyton Wilson's a comfortable number 3, and I might even put Cedric Gray at 4. Like I like Cedric Gray a lot. Like I'm telling y'all, the Washington interest is there when it comes to Cedric. Like we talked to him many times at the Senior Bowl, and he was telling me everything we were asking him and some questions and stuff like that. And what those conversations look like. So there's definitely some interest there. But like I said, guys, I wasn't gonna go live for the whole hour again. I don't think y'all want to listen to me ramble on for over 2 hours. And to be honest with you, I'm ready for bed. Definitely got to get back in the groove of stuff. I've been gone for a week, man. It was a long week. Sunburn, didn't sleep, watching practice about 6-7 hours a day, doing interviews afterwards, talking to players afterwards. It's fun though. I love it, man. I love this stuff. I appreciate y'all for always tuning in, blowing up the chat. I love hearing what y'all have to say. Even if I think you're crazy and you think I'm crazy, that's what makes us good fans. And shout out to Adam Schefter for sending that daggone tweet, man. I read it on the last live stream, but it was funny just saying that the Chiefs and the Commanders both have arrived in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Like, that gets me so fired up. One day we'll get that. We'll see that and be like, I told y'all, if we go to the Super Bowl, I'm buying a bus, like a big, not no jump bus, like a Greyhound bus, and I'm picking everybody up. We're just gonna go wherever it is. I don't care if they got it in Saudi Arabia, Canada. Like we are going to the Senior Bowl. It's gonna happen. Adam Peters is gonna get us there. I promise, guys. So like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate y'all for coming back, going live again. It's crazy how many people show back up for a second live stream. Y'all are crazy. I'm crazy. It's because we love this team, and we got some good things cooking up. I don't listen. Like I said, I'm going to be excited about these moves until I'm given a reason not to be. Us signing Dan Quinn was not a reason for me to get mad. Us hiring Cliff Kingsbury is not a reason for me to get mad. Joe Whitt Jr., not a reason to get mad. So don't be upset with these decisions until you have a reason to be mad. Be excited. We wanted Ron gone. It happened. We wanted Adam Peters. It happened. We wanted the coaches to come in and get this team right. We wanted this team to have someone to play for. That unmotivated ass team that we watched after the Bears game, we wanted that to change. And we got it. So what are we mad at? I'm not mad at nothing, man. I get negative fans all day. Like, we're a poverty franchise. Dan Quinn sucks, blah, 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 blah. I can't believe you're talking about this team still. Yeah, I'm talking about this team still, man. Until I got a reason to be mad. And then I'm going to talk about this team in a bad way like I did this last season. Oh man, appreciate you coming back, Richard. Like I said, man, we're gonna go live every time. What's going on? Here's my guy. Hey, Josh, we throwing a party bus for the commander. We can't do a party bus. I'm not gonna make it. You gotta at least get me there. That's why I'm glad. I'm glad we're not in the Super Bowl in Vegas. Like they gotta put it in like Kansas or something, North Dakota, somewhere where we can't act up. Don't put it in Vegas, LA, Miami. Don't put no Super Bowl somewhere like that, man. Send us to, like I said, man, Seattle, somewhere nice but not crazy. Seattle, Dallas. Nah, Dallas is kind of crazy. Houston, nasty, man. Send us off the grid somewhere so we don't get in trouble. We can actually make it to the Super Bowl. Don't you dare send us to Miami, Vegas, LA, New York. Don't even send us to New York, man. Just have it in Landover. Just have it at FedEx Field where there's nothing going on. We need it to be somewhere nice and quiet, man. Because our fan base is crazy. I'm telling you, if we ever get back to the Super Bowl, y'all thought the greasing of the poles and stuff's crazy. They're gonna have to do way more than that for us, man. It's gonna be a good time. I'm telling you, one day, and we're gonna talk about it on the stream, just like we talk about everything else. I don't care if we hire a cafeteria lady. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna look at that report. I'm gonna break down her menu, option by option. I'm telling you guys, whatever this team does, I'm gonna talk to y'all about it. And you know that. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all next time. Maybe I'll go live again tonight. We don't know. This is the Adam Peters era where it's just something every minute. So I might see y'all again tonight, or I'm gonna see y'all next time. But I appreciate y'all coming by. Peace.